This is the Movie Channel's feature presentation. This picture has not been rated by the Motion Picture Association of America.
స్కాట్ ద్వారా వారు మా ఆదిలాబాద్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఓ చిన్నపిల్లని తీసుకొచ్చారు. మీరు తీసుకొచ్చింది గోండ్ల పిల్లనండి.
అయితే వాళ్ళకి ఏమైనా 2 కొమ్ములు ఉంటాయా?
ఒక కాపరుంటాడు.
పులిని పట్టుకోవాలంటే వేటగాడు కావాలి. ఆ పని చేయగలిగేది ఒక్కడే సార్.
ప్రాణం కన్నా విలువైన నీ సోపతి నా సొంతం అన్నా. గర్వంతో ఈ మన్నలో కలిసిపోతేనే.
బ్రిటిష్ ప్రభుత్వానికి ఎదురు తిరిగిన నేరానికి నేను అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. తొంగి తొంగి నక్కి నక్కి కాదే, తొక్కుకుంటూ పోవాలి. ఎదురొచ్చినోడిని ఏసుకుంటూ పోవాలి.
చాలా ప్రమాదం, ప్రాణాలు పోతాయిరా.
ఆనందంగా ఇచ్చేస్తాను బాబాయ్. ఈ నక్కల వేట ఎంతసేపు? కుంభస్థలాన్ని బద్దల కొడతాం పదా.
It's the 10th year of my movie month. 30 movies, 30 days. Movie month, 30 podcasts, 30 days. Movie month, 30 movies, 30 days, 30 podcasts. It's year 10.
बैल जैसे धूल उड़ा के सींग उठा के तुम भी नाचो, बाजे जम के ताल ढोल बेटा राजू उड़ के नाचो।
हीरो से भी तेज कोई कर सके जो बेद नाचो।
अस्तबल में घोड़े जैसे बाग डोर छोड़ नाचो। मिट्टी जो रोट मोटा मिर्च खा के ऐसे नाचो। हाँ जा छोरे,
हाँ जा गोरे,
हाँ जा छोरे, नाचो 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 वीर नाचो। नाचो 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 यार नाचो।
June 29th. June 29th. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's June 29th. And you know what that means? That means it's the 29th day of this month, which means for the 29th day in a row, I've watched a movie I've never seen before. And for the 29th day in a row, I am here podcasting about this movie to you, America, and you, the rest of the world. I'm not just going to talk to American people. You crazy? Movie month is international. It's not just about these Hollywood films. No, no, no. We branch out all over the globe and beyond. You know, if you're an astronaut and you have an iPod, you could, or I don't even know if astronauts are still using iPods, they're probably not very good astronauts. But it's possible that you could be downloading this from somewhere off in space. I think I said that yesterday. I don't know if I'm reusing a joke. I'm not sure. It's very late. I'm very tired. I've had a very long day. But as I said, Movie Month is international. And today, we're here talking about the 2022 Indian Telugu language epic action drama film directed by S.S. Rajamouli. Can you tell that I just read that line from Wikipedia? So I made sure at least I got the language right. Yes, we're talking about R. I remember seeing a trailer for this last year sometime going, this movie looks crazy. And then I remember people telling me, oh, it's awesome. Oh, it's awesome. You need to see it. It's awesome. And then I remember hearing, wait, a song from it's been nominated for a Golden Globe, and then it wins Best Song. It's been nominated for an Oscar, and then it wins Best Song. And you see this crazy dance at the Oscar. I'm like, what is this? This is wild. I need to see this. And then I waited. This movie came out in March of 2022. I've waited, I'm going to say a year. Okay, right, ready? April, May, June. Then 3 months and 4 days to see this film. And you know what? I wanted to swear. I'm not going to take the time to bleep it out because I didn't want to put a little explicit tag on this. So I wanted to just say this movie is effing. And you know what effing stands for, okay? Effing awesome. That's all I have to say. This movie it's beautiful. It's dramatic. It's silly. It's epic. It's emotional. It's fun. It's everything. And it delivers in a style that I'm not used to. You know, it's definitely like this is me thinking. This is me assuming. This is more in line with I read somewhere this is not Bollywood, this is Tollywood. Is it because it's a Telugu film? But whatever it is, a style that I am not familiar with, and apparently I love. It's like hyper realistic, very, dramatic, like movement. And it is just so much fun. There are moments where it's sad, and there are moments where it's very dramatic, and moments where it's like you're kind of like, oh no, what's going to happen? And oh no, don't fight each other. And then there are moments that are like inspirational, and I'm like, oh, here we go, and ready for some crazy action. Then there's just some batshit crazy. I don't think that's enough for explicit tag, but I'm going to say batshit crazy action scenes that are, not realistic, and they're not supposed to be realistic. And I just was so captivated by this movie. It was a 3-hour movie, and I got to tell you, watching a 3-hour movie on a day like today would have been impossible to do in one setting. I'm going to tell you why. Because today I was helping my mother-in-law with some stuff, and after shopping a little bit, and then she got a call because she moved from New Hampshire to Massachusetts that, if you want to register your car and you want to sell it, blah, 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 all these things that she had to do, we basically had to, she realizes she needed to go back to New Hampshire by tomorrow to go and redo her registration there before selling the car. I mean, it's a whole crazy thing. I'm not going to go into details, but I could see it on her face. She's like, oh, I need to go tomorrow. And she was saying to like my wife and I, like, I wonder if you guys would be up for a little adventure. And all I was thinking was, tomorrow is day 30 of movie month, lady. I know you don't know what that is. And I know you're not listening right now. But if you are, this is what I was thinking. Tomorrow is day 30 of movie month, lady. And I am not going to cancel the plans that I have. So I give a little glance to my wife. It was almost like in a movie. I gave the little nod. And she was just like, all right. And I said, hey, you want to go right now? Well, really, no, I didn't say that, but I was like, hey, how about we go today? Once we're done here, let's go. And so we did. And she's like, oh, is Tammy coming? I said, no, she's not coming. She's going to stay home with the dog. She's going to stay home with your dog, too. She hung out with the dogs. I said, come on, let's go. Boom. Got in the car, drove for an hour and a half, took the registry, was done in 5 minutes. But then there's also a new car she's getting, so we went to the dealership to check that out. Boom, once we were done there, it's like, let's go. No, I want to get gas first. Okay, let's get gas. Okay, now let's go. Boom, right back home. Now, when I say that, it took me a good a little less than 4 hours overall. But here's the thing. This morning, I watched an hour and a half of this movie, and I'm going to spoil it. So if you haven't watched it, I mean, shame on you. Go watch it now. It's on Netflix. I watched it for an hour and a half. And it felt like it was the climax of an epic movie, a 90-minute epic movie, and you're only at the middle. And then this evening I watched the other half. So I kind of split it up fairly good. It was the raid on the British kind of stronghold, whatever it is, the not the castle, but the fortress, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It was the raid on that. To save with all the animals. When he jumps out from all the with all the animals behind him. Okay, wait a minute. His Beam, when Beam jumped out and he's like all the animals with him, I'm like, yes. I literally went, yes. And they're all CGI animals. You can tell. It didn't matter. Things in this movie, like I texted Chris. And I said, I'm not sure, but I might have a Jake G level man crush already on Raj, played by Ram Charan. Now, this guy, first of all, he's the coolest mofo throughout the entire movie. And, I'm at the age now where the hair on top of my head just isn't what it used to be. So I appreciate a good head of hair, and my God, this guy not only did he have a beautiful mustache and a beautiful head of hair, but every pose, he looked cooler than the next. And I thought, well, there he is. That's as cool as he can be. He can't possibly get any cooler. No. Then he goes to prison, and his hair gets longer. I'm like, and he's got a full beard. I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, he can't possibly get any cooler than that. Oh, no. Now he's a goddamn superhero archer. And I said, well, there he is. And I mean, that was the epitome of you're watching a guy who looked cool, get cooler, and then was super cool, like a superhero almost. It almost felt like the Beam and Raju was like they almost had like superhuman powers, the way they could do things. And I was there for every single moment of it. It was a classic, reminded me of, the Departed, where you have two people. Oh, actually, no, The Departed didn't have it that way. The Departed was like one guy. They didn't really work together. So I'm not sure if it was like an undercover type thing, but it was more than that. So you had a guy who is an officer, and he shows up to be an amazing officer. Then you have a guy who comes from his village, where a girl was taken from his village. He's looking for that girl. The guy who's the officer is looking for the guy who's looking for the girl. He doesn't know it's him, and he doesn't know he's a police officer. And all this stuff entangles through this giant epic fight when they finally realize who each other is. Then you come to find out, no. Raj, the officer, is actually undercover, and he's really part of the revolution. And so it went from him saving Beam and his sister. I wasn't sure if it was his sister or if that's just what he called her because it's from the same village. But I'll just say it was Molly, right? I want to say is her name. And he saves her, but then he gets seen as a traitor, so he's in prison. And there's an amazing scene where Ray Stevenson, rest in peace, he played the governor, Governor Scott Buxton. And I'll talk about his wife for a second, but he's like, there's a guy, Edward, who's like, we fed him once a week, like you've asked. And, and they show all these like emaciated prisoners. They're like them? He goes, no, we're treating him much worse than them. He'll be in much worse shape. And then they come to his cell, and he's goddamn doing pull-ups, and he's huge, and he's got long hair. And I was just like, oh my God, amazing. There's this whole amazing, like the part of Beam getting a public flogging that turns into him singing and inspiring people and actually creating the weapons in the people, and not kneeling, not giving up. I'm all over the place, but this movie was it was so big. It felt like something that you could, or you would want to see, like I feel like it should be a tradition, like watching this movie. The only thing that threw me off was what audio to go with. So, I am a proponent for, watching a movie in its original language and, reading the subtitles. But this one's a little different because the language this movie is in is Telugu. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Or Telugu or Telugu. I'm not sure. But the interesting thing is this Netflix version does not have the original audio track. And so I thought, okay, I put it in Hindi, and I'm looking, I'm going, no, that still doesn't line up. Like, I didn't know what part, like, I had no idea that this wasn't, Hindi wasn't the language. I don't even think I knew there was a language called Telugu until this moment. So, I just reading in May 2021, Penn Studios announced that the film's digital rights for Telugu, Tamil, Malaysian, and Kannada, they were acquired by something called Z5. But Netflix acquired Hindi, English, Portuguese, Korean, Turkish, and Spanish. So I didn't realize that different languages rights were picked up for different services. So if you wanted to watch the film in its original language, you couldn't in America. You're basically you're choosing Hindi if you wanted to hear it like in some sort of Indian language, but that didn't work for me because what was weirder is if I put it in, so I thought, if that's not the original language, well, what's the point of putting it like that? Let's just put it in English. But then what was weirder for me is if you watch the English language, and sometimes I'll put subtitles on for just regular English speaking American Hollywood movies so that I can kind of hear what they're saying better, or hear what they're, understand what they're saying, because sometimes people talk really quiet. Or they talk like Vin Diesel. And I have to put on subtitles for Vin Diesel. But I'll put that on so that I can kind of understand what someone said. But in this, a little weirder is if you put the English language on and you put the English subtitles on, they're not the same. They were translated differently. They were spoken differently. So I was trying to think, well, what's correct then? Are the subtitles correct? Or is the dubbing the correct version? Because sometimes it'd be a different turn of phrase. Sometimes it'd be completely different words, but they're saying the same thing. Like the message is getting across, but it's not exact. So I kind of kept the English dubbing on and the English language on to a certain point. I was like, you know what? I'll just go with it from here. Sometimes I turned the dubbing off completely, but the subtitles off completely. But I went with the English dubbing. They weren't like Americanized voices. Like there were still Indian people, doing the voices for the Indian actors. And then even the American or British actors were dubbed, in, I assume, themselves, but it wasn't very good. And I don't know if that's a style or if that's just because it just felt like it didn't quite line up and I don't know if that's the style of acting where it's very simplified, and I'm going to say this to you, and that's how I'm going to react with big facial reactions for Ray Stevenson and Lady Buxton. And here's the crazy thing about Lady Buxton: she has I'm not going to say she has a connection with a movie I'm going to see, but I am going to say she has a connection with a movie you've all seen. Catherine Buxton, Ray Stevenson's wife, who you end up, I'm going to say, you end up seeing dying in a wonderful way because she deserves it because she was the devil. It was played by Alison Doody. And you're going to say, her name's Doody. Yeah, I said it. But I don't know who that is until I look it up and I say, oh, Alison Doody from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Yes, she played the girl who turned on them. What the hell was her name? Elsa Schneider. Yeah, you heard me. She's from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I saw her in that. And then I've seen her in this. Oh, apparently she was in Major League 2. Okay, I've seen her in Major League 2 as well. Do I remember that? No, I didn't remember that. So the big part of this movie is the friendship between the two of them. I loved it. The brotherhood that these two men had for each other, even when they realize they're not on the same side, but then they are on the same side. When they have to betray each other, when they have to fight each other, incredible. There's a flashback where you get with one of the characters, where you get with Raj. That's like very emotional, and you kind of see what he becomes or why he becomes the man he becomes. Wonderful. You got Beam, who falls in love with a British girl, and it seems like they end up together. Excellent. Just the prison break, like bonkers, and I was like smiling for this slow motion, incredible, action of a guy sitting on another guy's shoulders. When he's got two rifles, Raju, and then all of a sudden Beam puts his hands up because the guy has both rifles in his hands and cocks both rifles so that he can keep shooting at the British. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. Like it is exactly what it is. Like I hate to say it, like it doesn't shy away from this crazy giant action, like hyper realistic, overly dramatic. I don't even know what to say. It's just so awesome. It's just so awesome. And when someone tells you, it's like, if you go, what the hell's going on here? That's stupid. No, it's not. No, it isn't. You got to go with it. Accept the silliness. Accept this over, like, hyper realistic, almost like a friggin' fairy tale at some points. And just go along for this epic ride. It is so satisfying. At the end, you're cheering. And then at the end, you're kind of, I was dancing in my seat. The big Natu Natu song became the huge hit. It won the Oscar, it won the Golden Globe. But then there was an amazing song at the end that was kind of, I think it was talking all about, those who stood up for Indian freedom. That's at least what I got out of it. I don't know these things. I don't know this history. I don't know the story of, the Indian and the British, Empire, and then the fighting of it. Like, I was like, oh, I kind of knew that was a thing. What can I say? I'm not that bright. I'm not that learned. And I like at the beginning, it says, this is a work of fiction. A lot of credits right up at the beginning. That it was almost like seeing the ending credits at the beginning. But it said, this is just a kind of a look at something like fictional. I forgot about that word. Fictional people at this time during this, based in a world or a story that did happen, and just like incredible. It was like just seeing the story of two men. Really, what it comes down to is these two men doing anything and everything for their people. But along the way, having this connection that, at one point I thought that Raj knew that Beam was the guy and was just kind of with him, and I realized, oh no, he's looking for the other guy with the longer hair. So when at the beginning when he was going to show him the picture of him on the motorcycle, but then he dropped it. I thought, oh, he's going to say, oh my God, it's me. No, I didn't. I realized, wait, that's not him. That's the other guy that worked at the motorcycle place, or with the longer hair. I think this was early today, but that dance was so friggin' awesome. It was in the end dance was great too. And then I'm like, wait a second, I see the two main guys, and I see the woman who played Raj's fiance. And then I said, who's this gray haired dude? Is that the director? Then I looked it up. Yep, that's the director. He's in it too. And I was just like, you know what? Awesome. They're just celebrating these people, like the people they're talking about in the story, celebrating their history, and celebrating this incredible movie that they made. I went back and just checked on the Oscars. You didn't tell from my seamless editing, to see what won for Best International Feature Film. And I was like, oh, All Quiet on the Western Front won. And I heard that's a pretty incredible film. It beat out, wait, RRR wasn't even nominated? It wasn't nominated for Best International Feature. I would have sworn that it was at least nominated for that. It was just for Best Song, and it won. Well, was it just Best Song? Yeah, that was the only thing it was not even costume. I mean, oh my God. Are you kidding me? So when I think about all the songs for this year, so there was Hold My Hand, the Lady Gaga song. I kind of watched that. What's funny is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies have were nominated, and 4 of them I watched in movie month. So one was Don't Tell It Like a Woman by Diane Warren for the song, I almost said applesauce because I can't read, for the song Applause. I don't know it, don't know the movie, don't know the song. What I thought was going to win was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, for Rihanna, for Lift Me Up. I know that song at least, maybe because I heard it recently. The Everything Everywhere All at Once, This Is a Life. I think I heard it the first time at the Oscars, then when I saw the movie. And I mean, it's not even close. Not two. How could that possibly not win next to these 4 schlubs? And I'm kidding, they're not schlubs. But how could they? I mean, just incredible. Incredible. I can't say enough good things about this movie. And I didn't go over the whole plot. There's a lot going on, but it's just the emotion that these two guys show in their face. In a movie that is just bonkers in parts, you kind of, even when they're doing incredibly like unrealistic things, the emotion feels so real in their faces that I'm like, oh my God, both of these guys are awesome. And then I think, wow, I hope these guys can like become Hollywood stars. And then I said, you know what? Like, who cares? There's a whole other world out there that isn't just, Hollywood and getting into American movies. And these guys are movie stars. They're movie stars in their world. And you know what? That can be perfect. That could be enough. Like, it's not about bringing these actors or these stories into Hollywood so dum-dums like me can see them. It's like it's for me to go out and step out of the world of the movies that I generally watch to find these movies that are not in English and not Hollywood movies. Now RRR, that one was like, it was promoted a lot. Like, I saw it a lot on social media and then through text chains with guys talking about it. And then, of course, seeing the Oscar. But then there's a bunch of other movies that I would not know about. Well, if it wasn't for Chris. I'm going to give Chris all the effort, give him the flowers. I don't know what the saying is. Give him the credit. That's the word, for throwing a lot of these movies at me and for them being great. And then realizing, with this movie, like, you see a movie like this, and then I'm like, well, if I like this, maybe I'd like another movie these guys make or the director makes or something. And, maybe I won't, but now it's like, it just opens up things where it gives you another avenue to find things you're like, oh, I never would have thought of that. And it just opens up the world of cinema, not just, Hollywood fare, but world cinema, especially if they can be as fun as this, because this was dazzling. If you have 3 hours to kill and you like fun, if you like fun, do ya? Well, go have fun with RRR. And I think with that, I'm going to call it. I mean, I didn't do the longest episode. It's a long movie, but I'm not going to go through every beat. I want you to experience it. The story is nice, but it's not like, and it takes a twist that I wasn't expecting, and you see it in a flashback, and it makes you like, a character you think you like. Then you're like, no, why is he doing this? Then you start feeling bad for him and loving him again. It's just so much fun, but you've seen guys like have to be undercover and stuff like that before, and that's great. And as much as I enjoy the story, I should say, it's really the style, the look. I guess that's the same thing, but just the stylized, hyper-realistic world with these two guys that carry this movie immensely. Just fun for the whole family. RRR, fun. And that's it. I'm done here. And this is crazy. This is, with it being the 29th of the 10th year, this is my 299th. I'm trying to say what's the word? 299th film, which you know what that means for tomorrow. And tomorrow is set. The movie's set. The time is set. It's a definite, unless I fall down and break my ankle, I am definitely seeing one movie tomorrow to close out year 10 of movie month. But that's tomorrow. I'm not going to talk any more about that until then. But today, I want to tell you, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. You can still find me on Mastodon.social. Nobody's found me, but you can find me at Geek Mentality. There's a Facebook page. It's fans.experts. It's the official Facebook page of everything that fans.experts.com does. I don't post a lot there. I generally do put all the movie month stuff up there, though. So I want you to go find that on Facebook. Give it a like and a follow. But most importantly, I just want you to go to fans.experts.com. Check out Movie Month. Check out all the movie months and all the other podcasts we have there. Fine Movies, Fine Spirits, The Mandalorian Men, Metallicast, Stranger Danger, Slash, a horror movie podcast that I need to get back to doing. And just, in Geek Mentality, that's where you find Movie Month and a bunch of other little things I do. And that's it. I am so excited to have seen this movie, and I am so excited to be closing out another movie month come tomorrow. It's crazy. It goes by so fast, and then I look back and I'm like, wait, oh my God, I watched Scream 6? When the hell was that? But that's it. I'm done. I thank you for listening. I thank you for subscribing. You do subscribe, right? Or following, even. Or whatever it is that people do on podcast apps nowadays. Yeah, I'm done. I'm tired. So I will talk to you one last time this month tomorrow. But until then, here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.